Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, January the 20th, 2019, and I found out something about what Trump has planned for this country in the near future. But I'm more focused on, will the government workers, especially that shitty TSA, get their next check this Friday? And here's what Trump has to say.
Well, one of the ideas suggested is they pay a sort of a prorated down payment for the wall, which I think people will agree that you need. You need the wall. In fact, I see a lot of the Democrats almost all of them are breaking saying, look, walls are good, walls are good. Big difference from what you had 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we had the vote on our bill, which we won 50 to 47. That was our bill. But we got one Democrat. It was 50 to 47. And we need, as you know, we have to get 60. We don't have 60 votes, so we need Democrat support. We didn't get Democrat support other than from a actually wonderful man, as you know, Senator Manchin. And he's doing the right thing for his people. I mean, he's doing the right thing for West Virginia, frankly. And the other bill, it was 52-44, and that included a lot of hurricane relief for a lot of different states. So it's sort of not something, some of them really voted for the hurricane relief, which they felt they needed. That was 52-44, but you need 60, so that didn't go anywhere. So we knew they both were not going to go anywhere, we thought. And now Mitch is negotiating with Chuck Schumer, and we'll see what happens. I think they just left a meeting. They just had a meeting. I think they're going out to see their people, but they just left. So we had 2 bills. I think we did very well. The Republicans held, except for 2. The Republicans held. 2 were not there. They weren't able to be there. So there were 2 non-votes. But even with 2 non-votes, I think they would have been good votes for us. It's 50 to 47. We won. But we need 60 votes because of the 60-vote rule. And so I just really want to thank the Republicans for holding. Again, on the other one, that was the opening up. That's 52-44, but you need 60 votes, so it's a long way short. And a lot of those votes were based on the fact that there was hurricane relief for certain states. Well, temporary spending without money for the wall. I wouldn't be happy with it. I wouldn't be happy. But we have a lot of alternatives. Honestly, we have everybody. Look, for the most part, people agree. When I say everybody, I would say almost everybody agree. We have to have border security. We have to have a wall in order to have border security. You cannot have border security without a wall. I mean, we can play games and we can talk about technology. We can talk about drones flying around. You know, right now, formed is an 8,000-person caravan. And the caravan is heading our way. Congratulations. We have another one. We stopped the first one. We stopped the second one. I wouldn't say that Tijuana is too happy, but they're happily living in Tijuana right now. And a lot of them have gone back. But we stopped them, but it's very tough. And if we didn't have a wall in those areas, it would have been very hard to stop them. We have the military, and we have the Border Patrol. They've done an incredible job, and ICE has done an incredible job all over the country, frankly. We've removed thousands of MS-13 and others out of our country. But if we had a wall, we wouldn't have that problem. It would be great. So we have a lot of alternatives. But I'm just honored that almost all of the Republicans voted for our bill. Our bill is the bill that we were really focused on. But we had almost all of the Republicans. So the end result was 50 to 47. The Democrats lost 1 that came over to our side. So they pretty much held, and we held. And again, we were missing 2 Republicans. They couldn't vote. They were not here. Well, I have to find out. After this meeting, we'll find out. But right now, Mitch McConnell's meeting with Chuck Schumer and to see if they'll have to see what happens. They're meeting to see if they can work out something, maybe on a temporary basis where we start. But we have a lot of alternatives. There are a lot of people that want this to happen. I'll tell you who wants this to happen. The military wants this to happen. Because this is a virtual invasion of our country, of drugs, of human traffickers, of so many different things, of criminals. It's an invasion of our country. And the military wants this to happen, and the Border Patrol wants this to happen. And by the way, Border Patrol said all of the drones flying up in the air, having a lot of fun flying drones all over the place. They don't mean a thing when they look down and they see thousands of people rushing on board. The only thing that works is a strong barrier or wall. I have not. I haven't spoken to Nancy Pelosi. No, but I'm here. I haven't left except for a beautiful evening in Iraq. I've been here for a long time.
Mr. President, Wilbur Ross said that he doesn't understand why federal workers need help getting approved. Can you understand?
No, I haven't heard the statement, but I do understand, and perhaps he should have said it differently. Local people know who they are, where they go for groceries and everything else, and I think what Wilbur was probably trying to say is that they will work along. I know banks are working along. If you have mortgages, the mortgagees, the folks collecting the interest and all of those things, they work along. And that's what happens in time like this. They know the people, they've been dealing with them for years, and they work along. The grocery store, and I think that's probably what Wilbur Ross meant, but I haven't seen his statement now. But he's done a great job, I will tell you that. Yes?
Venezuela, I just want to know, aren't you worried to leave the American diplomats behind?
Well, we're looking at Venezuela. It's a very sad situation. That was the richest state in all of that area. That's a big, beautiful area, and by far the richest. And now it's one of the poorest places in the world. That's what socialism gets you. When they want to raise your taxes to 70%. It's interesting. I've been watching our opponents, our future opponents, talking about 70%. Number one, they can't do it for 70%. It's got to be probably twice that number. But maybe more importantly, what happens is you really have to study and take a look at what's happened to Venezuela. It is a very, very sad situation. So we have our eye very closely on Venezuela, very closely. Well, it depends what the agreement is. I mean, yeah, but if they come to a reasonable agreement, I would support it. Yeah.
Even if there's no wall, or does it have to have
I only look. I have other alternatives if I have to, and I'll use those alternatives if I have to. We want to go through the system. We have to have a wall in this country. We have criminals pouring into our country, and I'm not talking about the southern border. They don't stay there. They go through. They permeate all throughout the country, including places like Wisconsin. A lot of different places, and that's the problem. I say that we would cut our crime. We're doing very well on crime rate compared to past years and past administrations. But I think our crime rate would go way down, and I know our drug rates, what's happening is the drugs are pouring in. And yes, they come through the ports of entry, but the big trucks come through areas where you don't have a wall and you have wide open spaces. We have to have the wall. You'd stop drugs. You'd stop human trafficking. I mean, human trafficking where they tie up women and they put duct tape in their mouths and they put them in the back seat of a car or in a van. They don't come through a port of entry because the people at the port of entry are going to see that. That's not like hiding drugs in the engine or in the hubcaps, and they have incredible, ingenious ideas. I mean, frankly, I've said some of these people are so genius. If they were ever legit, they'd become very rich people. But what they do is they go through the ports of entry with small stuff, but the big stuff comes through areas where you have nobody watching. I mean, you have hundreds of miles of open space, and they go out there and they're loaded up with drugs, or they have women in the back seat of the cars with duct tape all over the place. It's a disgrace, and you don't catch them. They make a left. You don't even know the difference between Mexico and the United States. They make a left turn after they go out 20 miles, 40 miles, 5 miles in some cases and less. They make a left turn. They're in the United States, and then they do whatever they have to do. You need the wall. And we can all play games, and we can all talk about technology. I know more about technology than anybody. If you don't have the wall, the technology doesn't work. First of all, the wall is based on, it's all based. Any technology works only with the wall. Not going to work otherwise. You need the wall. In fact, a lot of the technology is put on top of the wall. That's how you see it, the cameras and everything else. I mean, they literally put the technology, they fasten it to the wall. Then you have drone technology, and that's great. in terms of what are you going to do? You're going to follow the people? First of all, once they step into the country, you know what happens, right? You know what they do. It's called, what do they call it, you know? They put one foot in our country, right? And we got them. That's it. So the drones don't help us. We have to keep it out. We have no choice but to have a wall or a barrier. And if we don't have that, it's just not going to work. So it's very important to me. All right, one more question.
What's your message to federal workers who are missing another paycheck this week?
I love them. I respect them. I really appreciate the great job they're doing. Many of those people that are not getting paid are totally in favor of what we're doing because they know the future of this country is dependent on having a strong border, especially a strong southern border, because we have tremendous violence and crime coming through that border. We have tremendous drugs. We have human trafficking. We have MS-13 and gangs pouring through those borders. And if we don't strengthen those borders, we're going to have a big problem in the future. One of the people I blame is myself, because the economy is so strong right now, stronger than ever before. Today, right now, we have more people working in the United States than has ever worked in this country before. That's a great compliment. So I blame myself, okay? But the fact is, people come up because our country is doing so well, and they want to break through our borders. The fact is, we want them to come up. We took in more people last year legally than we have in a long time, because we need them, because we have a lot of companies are coming into our country. So we need people coming in. I want people to come in, but they have to come in legally, and they have to come in through merit. They have to be able to help companies, and if they don't help companies, and if they don't help our country, we can't do that, folks. We just can't do that, all right?
Why did you decide to agree to Nancy Pelosi?
Well, it's really her choice. I mean, I would have done it in a different location, but I think that would be very disrespectful to the State of the Union to pick some other place. I could have done it. I could have gone to a big auditorium and gotten 25,000 people in one day, and you've been there many times. But I think that would be very disrespectful to the State of the Union. So what she said, I thought was actually reasonable. We'll have the State of the Union when the shutdown is over.
When do you think that's going to be?
That I can't tell you. But we have a lot of alternatives, but we need border security. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. That's what Trump has to say. Well, let me talk about two things about what Trump wants. He's talking about a wall to prevent kidnapping and extortion and the government workers. Let's talk about the wall. Trump wants a wall so bad. It was like $5 billion. He wants $5 billion to build a wall between the U.S. and Mexico. What about between the U.S. and Canada? Why aren't you talking about a wall between U.S. and Canada? Drugs go through there too. I mean, Mexico may be a nice place to visit, but there's drugs here in the country. You're talking about kidnapping and human trafficking and all that stuff. If you want money to build a wall, why don't you dig into the pockets of these U.S. cops called Blue ISIS? They're overpaid pigs. They're overpaid, they're extorting, they molesting, they fondling, they raping, robbing, looting, and over the right to travel. You don't need a license, registration, and insurance to travel on the public roads. And yet, 1,500 people a year is being murdered on the side of the road because somebody don't have insurance on their car, their private recreational automobile, and a cop shoots them in the head. An unarmed citizen is murdered here in this country because cops are going around embezzling, robbing, raping, looting, kidnapping, human trafficking. You should worry about what's going on inside the country, Trump, instead of that war you keep whining about. Because there's extortion here in the United States. There's extortion, there's kidnapping, and there's human trafficking, and there's anything you want to know, you can find it here in this country. You can find cops, blue ISIS pigs, robbing, raping, looting, murdering, and so forth, so they can have more money in their pockets. And don't forget the judges and the prosecutors. They are robbing and raping and looting and pillaging and stealing your private property. It happened to me. Spent 2 weeks in a maximum security prison because I challenged Alan Hammond's jurisdiction. Alan Hammond is not a judge. He's the magistrate of 34th District Court. And local courts does not have jurisdiction over the right to travel. And here's the second. All you government employees, especially you fucking TSA motherfuckers, you ain't going to get paid anytime soon. Tomorrow is Friday. Your second paycheck will come, but you're going to have zeros all over it. And if you can prove me wrong, I'll take this video down immediately. But all you fucking TSA sexual predator perverts, asshole, succubus, and incubus asses, I don't give a fuck how you feel. I want to give you one red dime. You perverted fucking TSA sexual predators like to stick your hands in a baby's ass to make sure there's no bombs in there. Yeah, go fuck yourselves, asses. You succubuses and empty buses of shit. Trump is doing a good thing by removing the toilet away from this country. Yeah, that's what I see. Keep up the good work, Trump, and remove TSA into non-existence. We don't need shit and sexual predators and all that shit. Border Patrol, my fucking ass. All they do is break your windows, rip you out of your car, and beat the living daylights out of you. Because they want money. They extort, they rob, they rape, they loot. Trump, you gotta do a little better with Border Patrol. Because they're the ones that has the evil, psychiatric, psycho minds of shit. And that's where the raping, the robbing, the looting, the pillaging, and all kinds of other shit that takes place at the borders. You whining about a wall? Well, the drugs are here in this country. The robbing, the raping, the pillaging, the extortion, the unlawful acts of police brutality, they're all here in this country. You want to build a wall, you can go ahead and build that wall, Trump. Or you need to go into the pockets of the cops. Go into the pockets of the cops. Go into the pockets of the doctors. Go into the pockets of the judges and the prosecutors. They got the money. They go around putting people in jail for a legal constitutional right, the right to travel, the right to bear arms, the right to freedom of speech, and the right to video tape any cops on the public roads and sidewalks or anything that is public. Go do your job, Trump. Go after them misfits. And I guarantee you, crime will go down to a crawl. And give the people, the American people, the right to bear arms. And TSA, make them cease to exist. Because 9/11 is an inside job and that's full of shit. We don't need no fucking TSA. We don't need no Border Patrol. And we don't need no shit. Well, that's all I have to say. Maybe one day I'll be able to get back on the road and travel from point A to point B. But the fucking system took my right to travel from me. I'm Moorish American. Oh well. I'm going to get back on the road one way or another. I'm sure Trump would do the right thing and remove the shit out of America once and for all. Good night, everyone. Good job cleaning you're doing a good job cleaning the shit toilet, Trump. And as for TSA, go fuck Jalika King Floyd, or go fuck yourself. Because I don't give a damn at all. Good night, everyone.